Thumbs up. All right, so we have started. Good afternoon. Welcome to Dress for Success Cleveland, and this is our Lunch and Learn. I'm Program Manager Chris Elrich, and today our topic is about mentorship. If you didn't know, January is actually Mentorship Month. And so it's important for us to talk about mentorship. I think a lot of people understand the benefits of mentorship, particularly when it comes to youth. A lot of people have an understanding of that. With careers, people understand the importance of mentorship. But if you don't have a formal program through work or whatever group, it could be very difficult trying to think about how do you find a mentor and what do you do with that relationship. So we don't want you to limit your ability in finding a mentor. You can do this. So we have a wonderful, wonderful individual who's going to share her tips on how to do that. And her name is Laura Smith. So I want to tell you a little bit about her. So Laura is a skilled executive leader with more than 42 years of baking experience and more than 26 years of leadership experience. She currently serves as a senior vice president with PNC Bank's Customer Care Center, overseeing the new hire experience for the enterprise. Her passions are in assisting candidates with all aspects of interview preparation, assisting business owners with selecting the best talent and best candidates for their business, developing employees towards the next step in their leadership journey, and coaching towards an exceptional customer experience. It was these passions that inspired her to start her business, Amazing Career Consultant. Outside of the office, you'll find Laura serving on multiple ministries at Mount Pleasant Baptist Church or fulfilling her duties as a board member of Project Hope in Cleveland, a nonprofit organization that provides support, relief services, and scholarships to the underserved in Cleveland community. She brings an infectious energy that inspires everyone around her. If you're looking for insights on how to have an amazing career conversation, Laura is someone you need to have in your corner. So, without further ado, we bring Laura Smith.
Okay, well, thank you so much and good afternoon. I'm excited to be a part of Dress for Success. Thank you so much, Chris, for the invitation, the follow up, as well as the opportunity. Really appreciate that. So, we're going to jump right in, have a PowerPoint prepared that Chris is going to assist me with. She's going to share that, and that will guide our conversation. Perfect. So, finding a mentor and being a good mentee. So, Beth, since you're our first person here, I'll ask you, do you currently have a mentor?
I do and I don't.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a good answer. I do have a person that was my boss that I reported to when
Hmm.
I worked in healthcare at university hospitals.
Hmm.
I am still in contact with Nancy, and I do reach out to her. We do get together occasionally and talk about work, talk about life. I do look at her as my mentor. I don't know if Nancy knows that or not,
Yeah.
but I think the fact that I still reach out to her and really connect with her,
Mhm.
um, I and look at her in that manner. I do think that I do have one.
Okay. Okay. Well, thanks for sharing, Beth. I really appreciate that. One of the things you said is you're not sure if she knows she's your mentor. And that's okay. But you might want to clarify that because there's a number of individuals that I mentor within PNC and even outside of PNC. And I know I'm their mentor because sometimes when I see a text message from them or a phone call, I know it's because there's something happening in their career. They want guidance, and so it sort of lets me know what's happening. You got an interview coming up. You want to talk through maybe a major decision, so just clarifying what that role is probably a good place for you to start with Nancy. So again, finding a mentor and being a good mentee. We're just going to walk through that. So next slide, please, Chris. Ah, Understanding what a mentor is. Um, a mentor, they act as your cheerleader and your guide. So they're, in other words, they're not the person writing your review. So you don't have to feel, and that's the one of the things you got to understand. A mentor is not in it. This is not going to impact your monetary compensation because they're giving you feedback. But they act as your cheerleader and your guide. And when I think of my mentor tells me I've done something well. I know I've done it well, right? So that's the support they give you. If I'm doing it wrong or it didn't show up well, they're gonna let me know that too. Encourage the mentor will also encourage you to engage in new opportunities. We've all heard the saying, "Move out of your comfort zone," right? So a mentor will encourage you to move out of your comfort zone. And I'll just share briefly is, way back in 1999, I had an opportunity to move from Cleveland, Ohio to Boise, Idaho. And people were like, Boise, Idaho, what the heck are you going to do out there other than play with potatoes? But listen, it was my mentor who said, this is an amazing opportunity for you to glow and grow beyond what's comfortable for you in Cleveland, right? And she was probably one of the only people that supported that journey. And when you come back, we're going to talk about how that journey out west strengthened you as an individual. So again, a mentor is one to encourage you to engage in new opportunities, even when your friend and family can't see it. Your mentor will definitely see that. And then they'll help you navigate challenging situations, right? Should I leave this company? Should I stay with this company? Should I apply for another job? With my individuals that I mentor, I take them right back to let's get a piece of paper, let's write the pros, and let's write the cons down. They will give you guidance. We don't make the decision for you, but we point you in the direction so that you can make the decision that's going to be best for you. We'll just call out what might happen that make work well, and then we'll talk about maybe some things that may be an obstacle. We'll definitely keep you thinking. Okay. Any questions on that slide, Beth? Does that make sense? No, perfect. Thank you. Okay, next slide,
I,
Chris. Oh, I'm sorry.
mm, oh, what I was going to say, and it kind of goes back to what Beth was saying when sometimes the individual may not know if they're your mentor or not, because it may depend on how long you've had that relationship with them. It may have started, and I've had some like this. It started off very formal,
Hmm.
and then gradually through time, it kind of transitioned. But like you said, there's somebody that's always there where you still hear back from, and you're like, I'm going through a situation, and I know I talked to you about these things before, and I just want to get your perspective. So they're great sounding boards sometimes just to kind of get those thoughts in your head out so then you don't sound crazy in front of your manager or, leadership team
Hmm.
as well. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I'll go ahead to the next page.
Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. So be clear about your goals. Reflect on what you hope to learn and gain from the relationship when you have a mentor. Is it career? Is it about career? Is it about taking on a new opportunity? Is it should I be involved with Dress for Success? What do you expect? What do you expect to gain from that? So always be clear about your goals and know why you're seeking a mentor. And let's be clear, a mentor isn't going to tell you what you want to hear. If they do, that's probably not a mentor, right? A mentor is going to tell you the truth because they're looking out for your best interests, right? So know that when you look for a mentor, you're not looking for someone to agree with you, someone to make you feel good. You're looking for someone who's going to be honest with you and help you make a great decision. And then lastly, seek guidance on how to take the next steps in your career. That's what they do. A lot of it is career driven, but if you're not working, it may not be career driven. Some people that are not officially working in corporate America, they have so much on their plate that maybe they need some guidance on how to say no, because you can burn out even just doing things outside of just the workforce, right? You can be involved in so many activities. I work with a lady that I lovingly call a second mom, and she's the busiest retired person I know because she sings at everybody's wedding, everybody's funeral, everybody's concert, everybody's everything. And I have to tell her, you need to slow down. Let's balance this. And I had to coach her into getting a calendar. So when someone asks you to do something, put it on the calendar so you can see if you're double booked. So that guidance on next steps, it could be career or it could be something personal as well, because you don't want to overwhelm yourself. Because if you're overwhelmed, then you don't feel the gratitude in what you're doing. Okay. Questions on being clear about your goals? No? Yeah.
No questions. I just want to make a comment that that last statement that you made, Laura, is
Mm-hmm.
very powerful. That to have the gratitude with what you're doing. I think we forget about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is so important. Like, facilitating this lunch and learn is not work for me. This is a passion because
Mm-hmm.
I like to mentor people. I like to get to know new people. I like to be able to give guidance. I like listening, right? Being a mentor, you have to really exercise effective listening skills, right? That's something I had to learn to do. I used to always listen to talk, but now I listen to learn. So that's one of the things that you have to do as a mentor. Put your effective listening skills on. Next slide, Chris. Find the right people to mentor you, right? So your mentor doesn't need to be an executive CEO of the company. Okay, let's just start there. Sometimes we think this mentor has to be the top of the house. Not necessarily. It needs to be an individual that's experienced, right? It needs to be an individual that wants to take the time to mentor you and have it be meaningful. Because I would never say to all the many people that I mentor within my line of business that I manage and those that are outside of my line of business, I have capacity to respond to them. Because I can't call myself a mentor if I don't have capacity to respond and carve out time for them. Okay. Your mentor can be a few career levels above you. Um, so we can't be intimidated by that. Here in the call center, I'm considered what they call a group leader. So there's like the group leader, there's a team leader, and then there's the consultants, right? They're the ones that's on the phone. And oftentimes when I'm in meetings with the consultants, they get intimidated when I join the meeting, and I'm like, don't be intimidated. I'm here to help. I'm here to learn because you probably can teach me some stuff. They know more about taking phone calls than I do. So I don't want them to feel intimidated just because my title is senior vice president. That just simply means I've been around for a long time. I tell them senior, if you look at the word senior, that's defined as if you're bold, you can call me old, right? So it's defined as being old, but we can say tenured, we can say experience, we can say all of that. It is that tenure and experience that allows me to be an effective mentor, right? And then you can have multiple mentors at one time. They become what I like to refer to as your personal board of advisors. Now, let me pause there. Beth, do you have a personal board of advisors currently?
I do not.
Ooh. What about you, Chris? Do you have one?
Oh, I guess several people, like we said earlier, they may not know that I call them that, but you may have someone that is more work related
Yeah.
mentor.
Hmm.
You may have, I have someone that I don't talk to this person often. It may be every few years, but they're kind of like that career coach, long term career coach.
Hmm.
I have a mentor that's more on the finances
Hmm.
piece, right? Or I have someone that's more on the spiritual journey, and
Hmm.
I may have different conversations with them. I like this of the board of advisors because you should think of yourself as an entity, right?
Yes.
As a business. And so any business will have a board of advisors. We at Dress for Success, we have a board of advisors. Why wouldn't you have a board of advisors? So I like that
Hmm.
you call it the personal board of advisors.
Hmm. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. You definitely need that. And I like, Chris, how you said it's the finance, it's the spiritual. Even for me, I'm getting ready to plan this 60th birthday party, right? And I was talking to one of my personal boards of advisors. She's like, Lord, what are you going to do about jewelry? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not changing my jewelry. No, I think, so she was advising me on what I need to do, depending on what I do with my hair, determines the size of earrings I need. I never would have thought that, So we have to be open, to that. And when you think of, I have my best friend. She can sometimes be very opinionated, right? Depending on where I am, maybe I'm not in the space for that opinion. I got to go to another advisor for that. So you have to know what role people play as your personal board of advisors, right? And they're people that at the end of the day, they have your best interest at heart. And if we can come to that common ground, then that's a good personal board of advisors. So, Beth, I'm going to encourage you to look around. There's no set number you have to have. It doesn't have to be 5, it doesn't have to be 8. It can very well be 2, and it can grow year over year. But those individuals that you know have your best interest at heart and that could add value, then just say, hey, listen, I'm putting together, and now's a good time to do it. We're starting 2024, putting together my personal board of advisors, people I value, people that I care what you're going to say to me, because then they'll take pride in being on that board, and so you can certainly have fun with that. And then, me, I'm a foodie. We were talking about that. That's always a reason to get together, have lunch or dinner or appetizers with someone. Hey, you guys are officially on my personal board of advisors, right?
Yep, meet and eat.
Meet, I like that. Meet and eat. Yes. Yes. We learned under COVID just how valuable it is to be able to meet with someone when they took away our ability to meet. So listen, I don't take that for granted. So I would say we're going to get our personal board of advisors set up, or tweak it and add to it, and let those folks know the role that they play for you. Okay. Next slide, Chris. Okay, be specific about what you want. Sometimes individuals, when they meet with me, they get a little gun shy. Whatever you need from me, can you just ask me? Because that'd be a lot simpler. We can get there. Share what you are working towards and what support you need, right? If you're working towards a promotion, let's talk about what that promotion is. Let's talk about, are we ready for that promotion? Let's talk about the steps we need to take to prepare you for that promotion. But you got to be very candid and transparent with your mentor. They can't help you if you're making them play the guessing game. Just come on, tell me what you need me to do. Be clear with why you chose them to be your mentor. Some people will say, Laura, I've chosen you because I want to be better with public speaking. I want to be better with working with others. I want to move into being a leadership role. I want to be a manager. I want to manage people. So they're very clear. If you're clear with why you chose me, then that will allow me to make our time together very effective. Okay, so let's not be shy. That's why when you pick the mentor needs to be someone you're very comfortable speaking with, right? And when you have a session scheduled with your mentor, you should be excited about that session. And if it has to cancel, you should be looking for a way to find another time. I have a mentor here at work, and whenever we can't connect, we're just trying to scramble to find 15 minutes somewhere, because we can't go more than 2 weeks without that connection, right? And then define the problems and questions you need help with. Sometimes we think when we have an area of opportunity, we don't want to talk about it. We don't want anyone to know. But listen, if you don't talk about it, you don't let me know, I can't help you. So it's okay. Opportunities is your opportunity to grow, is your opportunity to get better. But let me help you with that. And just because maybe you've messed something up, it's okay. Let's talk about what happened. Let's talk about what we need to do different. Let's talk about how I can help you fix that so that we don't repeat that. And if you mess up something, not the worst case, just don't keep messing up the same thing. And that's where your mentor can help you. Beth, did I see you come off mute? Did you have something to say on that? No?
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay. Okay, so be specific about what you want. So even when you're seeking a mentor, before you go get the mentor, how do you got to spend some time with yourself. What do I want this mentor to do? Okay, so and then I'm still very much old school. I'm a baby boomer. I like to write things down. I know we got all this technology, and I got the OneNote. I work in a paperless environment. I get it. But when I really need to figure some things out, I got to put pen to paper. So I'm all old school. Get a book, write that down. Okay, I want to mentor because why? Okay, so once you figure out why you want to mentor, then you look into who can be an actual good mentor for you. But be okay with defining where you need help. Needing help is not a bad thing. It's when you need help and don't ask. Now, that's the bad thing. But if you need help and you're willing to ask someone to help you, then you've taken a huge step in the right direction to development there. Okay. Any questions about being specific about what you want from your mentor?
No.
Perfect. Okay. Next slide, Ms. Chris. Okay, make it easy for your mentor. Listen, be respectful of their time. Uh, Take care of the logistics. Is it Zoom? Is it Teams? Is it meat to eat? Is it the restaurant? Do we need a reservation? Or is it something virtual? Whatever we're doing, and sometimes a mix of both. I work from home. I'm a full-time remote employee, but I love an opportunity to connect with someone face to face. Right? I've learned how to read energy, synergy, behaviors, body language. I've learned how to read that via the camera because I had no choice as a leader, working in a call center, managing, 100 plus people. I have to learn how to read energy and eye contact and all that. It's not as easy face to face, but listen, you can do it. But understand, when you have the calendar invite set, are you prepared? Are you focused? Or you don't walk around? It drives me crazy when I'm in a session with someone and they're doing, and sometimes I have to utilize FaceTime and they're walking. Well, I can't concentrate on what I'm saying because I'm watching where you're walking. I am a little nosy. I'm looking in your house. I'm like, what's that over there? It doesn't take much. Shiny ball gets me every time. So when you're in a session, be in a stationary place, right? Because again, we want to be respectful of the mentor's time and then ensure that the meeting starts and ends on time. Chris did an awesome job with that. We said, okay, this was starting at 12 noon. She's like, Laura, I want to be respectful of your time. We're going to give it 7 minutes. I'm going to start this recording. So I appreciate that. She made sure it started in, and I keep an eye on the clock. So if we say this is a 30-minute session, then that tells me I need to keep my comments to 20 because I need to allow you 10 minutes to ask me any questions you may want to ask me to gain clarity, right? So when I did work in an office brick and mortar, I probably had 3 different clocks in my office. And people would say, do you just have a love for clocks? No, I need to always know what time it is. And see, if I'm talking to someone, I wouldn't want them to see me look at a watch because then they would feel rushed, right? So I need to be able to look at a clock like I would, just like right now, I got a clock right here. So I can look at that clock. You guys think I'm looking at you, but listen, I'm keeping up with what time it is and how many more slides I have to go. So make sure that you are respectful of the start and end time. And if it's going to go over, then make sure you call that out. Do you have a hard stop at 12:30? Because if you do, then we know what we're doing. That's being respectful. So that part is pretty important. Any question on making it easy for those of us who are the mentor?
No.
No, perfect. Okay, next slide, Chris. Okay, listen and show them you value their feedback. There is nothing worse than mentoring someone and it's going in one ear and out the other. That's called a waste of my time, right? Incorporate any feedback providing, like reading a book or an article. If your mentor says, hey, Laura, would you want to read this article? If you're going to read the article, do so and then do a follow up. Hey, I read the article. Here's how it landed on me. Here's my takeaways from that, because that lets the mentor know that you're valuing the feedback that they gave you. And that is award winning. Okay. Always follow up on actions taken. When you end the session, make sure you're clear on what are the next steps. Okay. I'm going to go to Amazon and buy this book. I'm going to download this article. I'm going to do this audio book. Whatever you're going to do, recap that before the session ends. So you're very clear on what you were supposed to do. And so if you're going to recap it, then you got to have a great way of taking notes. Again, I'm a pen and paper girl. If you're an electronic person, I mean, I have an iPhone. I do use the notes in my iPhone. Um, that actually works really well for me using the notes in my iPhone. If I need to keep up with certain things or what was I supposed to do, there's really no excuse to say I just don't remember. I can't. I didn't follow up on that. Were you taking notes? Were you paying attention? Right? Did you ask questions? Did you look to gain clarity? Right? And then some people, I have a gentleman that I do mentor, and whenever I'm giving him feedback on, what he needs to say, he will take out the phone and just record me. He said, I don't want to try and remember. Maybe I didn't, my note taking wasn't that good, but he will record exactly. I was coaching him on how to have a difficult conversation with a family member. It was a necessary conversation. He felt that someone was disrespecting his mom. And I said, well, you can have that conversation, but here's what you want to say. And he said, I'm going to record this because I'm going to listen to this on the plane. While I'm flying there, And so he goes, because I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. Because sometimes as mentors, I will say things and then people are like, can you repeat that? Well, I don't really know what I said. Let me try and repeat that again. Because, you just get into the flow of things, right? So if you record it, then guess what? You catch it the first time around. And I think that's fair. as long as you ask permission to say, hey, I'm recording this because I don't want to miss anything. I'm recording this because I want to be accurate. I'm recording this because I want to follow up and make sure that I'm doing just what you recommended. So and that's just taking advantage of this technology that we have, right? We have the technology, so why are we not using it? So we don't really have to do pen and paper, but I'll still use my pen and paper. Okay.
N-
Uh,
n- Nothing wrong with pen and paper, but thanks for using that example that you said. What recording? Because a lot of times people don't think about recording in general, right? Because you're right. When people are flowing with
mhm.
words, you're like, I can't do a playback. Like it came out then and there, right? It's
That
done.
was it.
That was it. But I like the fact that how you use that example of that individual that needed to handle a family situation, right? So I know a lot of times people think only mentors in a work setting. And so that's just another beautiful example on how having a board of
Yes.
mentors, right? Your board of advisors, because they can help guide you in a lot of different
Mhm.
things. So then you don't feel alone. So thanks for sharing that
Oh, sure.
example.
Sure, absolutely. I was really, and you're right about the flow, because my sister, my older sister, she'll call me and she'll say, hey, can you put on your amazing career consultant hat? And when I'm giving her advice, it starts to flow. And then but she's got to write everything down. Just a minute, I don't have my pen and paper. Okay. Can you say that again? No, I really can't, because I really don't know what I said. So that's where the recording actually, so I'm trying to get better at, like, are you gonna take notes? Like, no, ask her. Do you want to go get your pen and paper? It's just so when I start to flow, that you can sort of catch it. So, but again, that's taking advantage of that technology. But just make sure you ask permission. It's so much easier. We'll do a video. Think about it. We'll go to a concert and we'll do a Facebook Live and video, and then we'll post it. So we're doing it anyway, but we do it when it's fun, right? I've seen even on Facebook wedding proposals, gender reveals. We just tape everything. So why not take something that's going to really aid into your own development from that perspective? Okay, perfect. Okay, and moving on to the next slide. Now this is a big one. Show gratitude. I like to think that my job as a leader, sometimes it can be very thankless, right? The more I do, the more somebody wants me to do. The more I give, the more somebody wants me to give, right? So sometimes I feel like, am I even adding value? So even as a mentor, sometimes you can feel devalued, right? So your mentor has a personal life. Don't be too demanding of their time, right? Always demonstrate kindness. A handwritten note or email goes a long way. I've gotten to the point where here at PNC, we have an opportunity where if you do something well, someone can send you what's called a spotlight point. And okay, we like the points because that means my bank builds up and then I can buy something. It's like shopping on Amazon or whatever. But I'm not so much caught up on the points. I'm caught up on the words. So when someone takes the time to send me a spotlight and will articulate how I've added value, help them grow, develop, inspired them, coach them, I keep those spotlight points and I move them to the Laura recognition folder. So at the end of the year, when I write my year end evaluation as to what I've done, I'm not making stuff up. I just go right to that folder and then I can pull out some of those recognition spotlight points that I've received. And that means the world to me. When I can help someone and they found value in the 30 minutes or the 45 minutes or the hour we spent, that is award winning to a mentor. So don't ever think just because they are the mentor, they don't want to feel gratitude, because we do, right? And it doesn't have to be monetary, because this is a volunteer thing, but just a note, an email, a text. We again back to that technology, right? We have all the technology. I was too busy. How long does it take to send a quick text? Not long at all, right? And then show appreciation by asking about things happening in their life. Those that I'm mentoring, they know that on February 4th, I'm turning 60 and I'm having this big party on February 3rd. So, Lord, did the dress come in yet? And here's where I'm stressing, because my party's less than 2 weeks. And I just learned yesterday that my dress is not coming. So, it's another story. We'll talk about that later. So, yeah, you want to have the dress, right? So, people that are checking in with me. So, Laura, how's it go? Anything you need me to do? Anything you need me to help you with? So that's them showing, even though I'm the mentor, they're showing that they appreciate and they're aligned with what I have happening in my life. And you know what that does as a mentor? that allows me to want to give even more because I know you're just not in it for what I'm giving you. You actually care about me as a person. So don't think that a mentor doesn't need to see that gratitude, right? So that part's pretty important. And then some of the people, I happen to be a breast cancer survivor, right? And people that I mentor, they celebrate with me in the month of October, right? I have like my office here is filled with pink things. I get pink pens. I have pink glass roses on my desk because those are individuals. But see, as a mentor, I have to be open and okay to share that I'm a survivor to allow them to show me the gratitude. So this whole mentorship thing, it's a two-way street. You got to be open and you have to share. Okay? Questions about showing gratitude?
Just a comment. Number one, I love that you're an Aquarius. I am as well. So I love that.
Okay.
And number two, I think the handwritten notes or thank yous are, I love when I get a handwritten note. I really do. And I think that there's a certain, I don't know, it's like a lost art
Yes.
where people just don't understand. And it doesn't have to be long. One of my sisters, whenever she sends a card, birthday card, anniversary, whatever it might be, she'll put a quote in there that
Mm.
she found meaningful from a book or whatever. And I love when Janet's cards come because I want to read, what is the quote that she is sending that's going to help me or whomever is getting the card in my family throughout their day. So I totally agree with you regarding the handwritten notes or thank yous.
Sure thing. And when's your birthday, Beth?
February 8th.
Wow. Well,
Yeah, 4 days after yours.
yes, happy early birthday to you.
Thank you. Same to you. I will think of you on the 4th.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. So, anything Chris said about gratitude?
The one thing that I was thinking of when you were talking about sharing things, and I don't know if this may come up a little bit later. Um, we talked about reverse mentorship before in my past life because sometimes, yes, there's the peer mentor relationship that's going. The mentor is pouring into the mentee, but then we also have had mentees flow up information because sometimes mentors aren't at the ground level of what may be happening, right? At work or what may be happening in life. And so sometimes we've had mentors ask mentees questions like, hey, I'm getting ready to do this particular project, or this is something that I would want to roll out, but I'm not for certain how will it be received or what's happening. So you never can tell what that relationship can turn into. And that's appreciation that the mentor will also receive. Like, hey, I didn't even know that this was a problem or issue, or people really do appreciate, certain things that I wasn't even aware of. So sometimes even just that knowledge and sharing an idea with your mentor can help them out just as well too. So that's what we would call like the reverse mentorship. But there was another fun term. I can't remember what it is. I didn't have my caffeine today, so I can't remember what that was. But I just wanted to share that sometimes, yes, there will be some reverse mentorship that can happen in that relationship.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I like to approach each day, Chris, very good point, with what can I learn from those that are on my team. I love it when they teach me. And I even do something with my team. So I observe them doing coaching because, I manage leaders who coach others. So every month I have to observe them doing coaching. So I'm observing their preparation, their engagement, did they have the right balance of how were you talking too much? But then I flip it and I want them to coach me on something. Now, some of them struggle with it because they're like, well, I can't coach you because you're the leader. You absolutely can coach me because, like I tell them, there's only three things I know how to do. Thank God they're the three critical things to my job. But there's so much that I don't know. Like, for instance, when we're doing this session, and I said to Chris, hey, can you drive the PowerPoint? Because that's just not my lane. If I was driving, I can't do the PowerPoint and talk. And that's just too much. I can facilitate, but I need somebody else clicking that button. And that actually happens for me at work as well. But there's always an opportunity to learn. And that's how you build those relationships. Some of the individuals that I mentor, And let's just be honest, that generation behind me, they were born on a computer. I wasn't. I was born in the pen and paper. So you need to have someone that's born on the computer. When I can't figure out why this thing won't attach or download, I call any one of my employees, whether it has to do with PNC or not. Hey, can you help me? I got a question, and so that opens that door to where they can, pour into me or give me feedback. And sometimes I'll ask them, was I mean? Did I say that right? Could I have said that? How did that land on you? Because even though you're the mentor, it doesn't mean you're perfect. You still need to be open to feedback, and you still need to, assess and like, how can I be better? I want to be a better mentor in 2024 than I was in 2023. Some people, just depending on where they meet me, sometimes they're intimidated. But like I tell people, if you meet me at the picnic and somebody split my hot dog bun, and I'm not eating that because the bread is broken, then you're not intimidated by me. You're like, how old is she? And why can't she, what is she talking about broke bread? But if you meet me in a meeting and I'm talking about, how critical it is to provide an exceptional customer service to all of the clients that PNC has and how I'm holding you accountable, you might be a little intimidated, right? So you have to be able to understand, the difference and not be intimidated by people. And so sometimes I try really hard to come in and I'll sometimes be a little corny because I want people to relax. It's when you relax, will you allow me to develop you? But if you're afraid of me, anybody that I'm afraid of, I don't know that I'm going to get much out of that relationship, right? So I have to find a way to make sure that, get group leader, senior vice president, that's what I get paid to do, but that's not who I am all the time. I'm just an individual who wants to listen, wants to help you. And just the tenure I have, the 42, 3+ years I've been, let's allow that to support you as you glow and grow. So I don't want people to be intimidated by that, but just to have a good dialogue. So great. Thank you so much. And then on to how to be a good mentee. Next slide there, Chris. Okay. So remember, your mentor is a volunteer, okay? They are taking time out of their schedule to help you develop and grow, which goes back to why it's so important that you are focused, you're paying attention, you're not walking around your house multitasking during the session. I need to know that you are really taking, these 30 or 60 minutes valuable. Be open about your needs and communicate them. Tell your mentor exactly what you need from them. One of the hardest parts of my job is people don't tell me what they need. I got to try and figure out what they're not saying. It'd be a lot easier if you just tell me, right? So I have to think, well, they said that, but that's really not what they meant. What they really, that's hard. You can just tell me. So in a mentor relationship, it's okay once you identify the right person to be honest and clear, right? Take action, put the new skills you've worked on with use every day. There's no need to wait. When I coach someone, I'm looking for improvement as soon as that session ends. There's no need to wait or delay. Don't get ready to get ready. If you had questions or need more clarity from me, let's talk about that in the session so that you can get into action immediately. Ask thought-provoking questions that lead to discussions, right? So Laura, share with me. So it's the open-ended questions, right? Laura, share with me, how do you disagree with someone in a meeting without making them feel attacked? That's one of the questions I get all the time. And that's a good one because you want to do it and you don't want it to be career suicide. So there's a certain way to certain way to do that. How do I take the attitude out of my voice, right? And I had to learn that. I had a boss that would tell me when I would get frustrated, and when we first, came home virtual, this was me. Was that incorrect body language? And he would be like, Laura, don't put us on hold. Take me off hold. So I would have to unfold my arms, and stay in the conversation. Or I would do one of these, way back in the seat. That means I've withdrawn myself from the whole conversation. Not a good thing at all. Okay. So one of the things with leaders is you can disagree professionally and you can have a difference of opinion. Or if I'm not clear on what Chris is saying, questions are fair, questions are free. Just ask questions to gain clarity. So if I don't agree with what Chris is saying, well, Chris, can you explain that to me again? Because I don't know that I'm clear. So how would you like that said? Versus what you said makes no sense, Chris. See how that's a little different? Questions are fair, questions are free. And that's something I share with everybody, mentors, my employees. I don't know what's wrong unless you just ask me. There's no harm in asking me, right? And then be open to receiving feedback. A mentor's job is to provide honest and sometimes critical feedback. As we started this session, mentor is not here to make you feel good. That is not why we're here. We're here to help you glow and grow, help you to be successful, help you to be your best professional self. And that comes with some feedback. Now, one of the things I've learned to do, because I have a very direct tone, so what I do is when I need to give feedback, I say, Beth, is it okay if I give you feedback? I ask permission. Because if I ask permission and you say, yeah, hey, game on. You said I could. And that worked with the peer. One time we were not getting along and she got mad at me. I said, well, I asked permission. And then we laughed about it. She goes, oh my God, you sure did. You asked permission and I gave it to you. So why am I mad? There we go. So you have to just understand individuals and understand how to work with them. And if you just simply ask permission, that has been a game changer for me in my leadership and in my mentorship is asking permission because maybe now's not a good time. Because if you're hot about something and you're all emotional about it, now ain't the time when you want me to correct you. So how about Beth, we connect on that later because I got some feedback, but I want to give you some time to calm down. Okay, Laura, that sounds good. You just got to know when the time, because sometimes it's just not the right time. And then know what your role is. Even with my sister, she gave me some really good coaching one time. I go into problem solve mode because that's what I do. I manage people. When people don't call me because they're interested in what I'm having for lunch, they call me because they got a problem. So I automatically want to solve problems. So when I'm not at work, when my sister comes to me with something, I have to ask, so did you want me to just listen? Did you want my opinion? What did you want me to do? And because one time she told me, she goes, I don't need you to be the group leader. I need you to be my sister. Very fair coaching. So now she and I, when she calls me, she identifies which hat she wants me to wear. Can you put on the PNC hat? Can you put on the amazing career consultant hat? Can you just be my sister? So then we don't have that issue anymore. But it's all about that clear communication that you need to have, which will allow you to give that open and honest feedback. Any comments about how to be a good mentee? Perfect. Hey, I think we are at a good time. 12:49. Have a quote that I wanted to leave with everyone. Mentoring is a brain to pick, an ear to listen, and a push in the right direction. Doesn't come from Laura Smith, comes from John C. Crosby. But that concludes my presentation on how to be a mentor and how to be a good mentee. So I will open it up for any questions that you all may have or feedback.
I don't have any questions, but that was amazing, Laura. Really, truly amazing. I appreciate you sharing your expertise in this forum because I really did learn a lot and have made some notes to myself on what I need to do. And I will be actively working on those very soon.
Okay, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Laura, you dropped a lot of gems, or like what Oprah would say, tweetable moments, but we don't tweet anymore, so I don't know what they say now. Um, Um, so one that resonates with me, that personal board of advisors, right? I think, and we may know of people that are already in that role. They may not have been told they're in that role, but then when you step back and really think about it, there are certain people that you reach out for certain things, and how do you have those conversations? And so they probably are a mentor. And how do you respect that relationship and build that. And then I really like when you said just ask permission, particularly when it comes to feedback. Because yeah, you may reach out, you may have an appointment or whatever with your mentor and getting some feedback, and you may not even be ready to receive it. They say feedback is supposed to be a gift, right?
Mhm.
But if you're not able to receive it, then you're not going to get the benefit of the mentoring at that time. So I think always just asking permission, regardless of what the conversation or relationship that you have, because then they're prepared on how to receive, you're prepared on how you need to deliver, and vice versa. So I think as people, we don't do that enough. We
Mhm.
just go right into just giving what we think people want to hear.
Hmm.
or what we think they need to hear, right, at that point. Not to say that they don't need it, but maybe the timing isn't right, and so we should ask for permission. But there were just so many gems. And I think, again, it helps us to narrow down that you don't have to have a formal program to have a mentor. You do not have to be a teen to have a mentor. You have mentors throughout your career, your spiritual and financial being as well. And the timing of those relationships and how long they last may vary. But, just to know that you don't have to do everything by yourself and
Hmm.
on your own, that there's people out there that have gone through a lot of experiences that they can kind of help you,
Hmm. Hmm.
guide where you're thinking, and even sometimes just be that sounding board to make sure you don't sound crazy when you're saying it too. So I really appreciate what you said. I thought this was great and everything was on point. And like, we said less was more, and that's what we got here, the just clear, concise. So we really appreciate everything that you brought today on
Yeah.
mentorship. And we are looking forward to continuing our conversation on mentorship, right? So we're not going to let Laura go right away. Um, well, we'll let her come back on Thursday. We'll let her get a little bit of break, but we're going to talk about mentorship versus sponsorship because many times those words are used interchangeably and they do not mean the same thing at all. And so I'm sure there's going to be some pieces we're going to revisit, kind of talking about mentorship, right? Because there's a lot of that in there. But we want to make sure people understand the difference and how you can benefit from both
Hmm.
as well. So,
Absolutely.
Laura, anything else from you?
Well, I just want to say you guys were the best audience. So thank you for, I saw you both taking notes, and that's always when you're
Mm.
facilitating, that's what you're looking for. Like, is this resonant? You all were not looking around, you were looking at your paper, you were taking notes. So I appreciate the engagement. And then, Chris, on behalf of Dress for Success, thank you for responding to my request to want to be a mentor. I mean, a mentor, a facilitator. Thank you. Because I think I shared with you before, I reached out and nobody called me and my feelings were hurt. And so I'm like, I'm gonna send this in again. Nobody's gonna, call me. So happy that you did reach out. And I would just say this is a passion for me, a definite passion for me. It lines up when I leave PNC, when I retire. Amazing career consultant is what I want to do. What I've learned on my journey. I haven't always done it all right, but I've had good mentors. I've had people to give me good feedback, right, that has led me to this. And I would be remiss and not to give back. So that's why Amazing Career Consultant was born, and that's why
Mhm.
I do it. So if there's anything I can do going forward, I know I certainly didn't want to be like I said to Chris, I don't want to be the one hogging up all the opportunities. I'm sure you got a lot of people that want to do that, but would love an opportunity to do something face to face. Love the teams, but whatever that works. And so I'm hopefully this is a good partnership that we started here. So
Amen to all of that.
okay, that's good. Okay, it was a pleasure meeting you both. Have a great rest of your afternoon. And Chris, I will see you on Thursday night.
See you Thursday night.
Okay,
Thanks,
all right.
Laura.
Take care.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye. Bye bye.